So have a little lie down to start. So as you know, we don't warm up for yin either, because we want the muscles to be quite cool and at rest so that we can access that deep connective tissue that forms our joints and the ligaments that hold our bones together. So we just go straight into the poses with our yin practice. But we'll just start with a little lie down so that you can just take some time to relax the whole body. Just bringing all your awareness into your body now, and softly close your eyes if you're comfortable. So taking your awareness inside your body, noticing how you feel this evening. As you drop into your body, just letting go of the day so far. Come into your breath, find your natural breath. And take this time to settle. And as you inhale now, picture that you're breathing in peace and calm and relaxation. As you breathe out, let go of all stress, all strain of the day, of the week so far. Let it all go with the outgoing breath. As you do so, allow your shoulders to gently release. Allow the arms to come alongside the body so that your palms are facing upwards, your fingers are gently curled. Still taking a little bit of time to rearrange the body if you need to, if you're not quite comfortable, if you don't quite feel supported. Softening through the face, softening across your brow, through your temples. Allowing the eyes now to fall back in their sockets behind the closed lids, dropping back into pools of darkness. Allow the brain to soften back into the skull. Skull gently resting on the surface upon which you're lying. Let the jaw be soft, let the neck be soft. Just observe the rhythm of your breath within the vessel of the body. Each time you breathe out, just letting go a little bit more weight. Feel the points of contact between the back of your body and your mat. And then each time you breathe out, breathing out through those points of contact, down into the support of the ground beneath. Each out breath is a letting go the weight of the body, letting go of tension. Back to letting go of anything at all, anything that is not serving you right now. Just be in this moment with your breath. And give yourself this time to nourish and to nurture. Softening through the legs now. Just allow your hips to broaden a little. Soften a little more through the belly, through the backs of your thighs, the buttocks, releasing through the backs of your knees, softening through your calves, your shins, your ankles, your heels, all the way through to your toes. You have your legs extended, just allow your feet to gently flop out to the sides. And just think about that feeling of becoming muscularly passive. So in Yin, we want to be muscularly passive. So basically, we want the muscles to be out of the way so we can go deeper into the connective tissue and the ligaments. And then, so from that position on your back, if you have your legs extended, just draw your knees in towards your chest. Hug the knees back towards you. And then from there, drop the soles of the feet to the mat. Take the arms away from the body. And on the next exhale, roll the legs over to the left, roll the head over to the right. So you're coming into your semi-supine twist. And just stay as you are and breathe. So you could place a block between the knees if you wish, or props underneath the knees or thighs, a cushion underneath the head. You may take your knees a little higher or a little lower. So in Yin, basically there are three principles. One is that we find an appropriate depth or an appropriate edge in the pose. So the pose is not too much or not too little. So you're finding your compassionate edge. The second is that we try to remain still so that we can go deeper into those more deeply protected parts of the body. So obviously, if you become, if anything feels painful, then obviously adjust or move out of the pose. But if you're experiencing something that feels quite deep, perhaps a dull, achy sensation, then just remain still and just watch what arises in the pose. And then the third guideline, we hold the poses for time, typically 3 to 5 minutes. So I've got an egg timer here, so we'll be timing you in the poses. So Yin hydrates the tissue. So we're hydrating the deep fascia at the deep layer of the tissues. And if you think of the fascia as being like a sponge, so when it's hydrated, a sponge becomes brittle and can break easily. Or in terms of our own tissue within our own body, it's easy to injure. Whereas if the tissue is hydrated, it's malleable and healthy. So you can also think of your fascia like the pith of an orange, densely woven, covering every single muscle and bone, arteries and veins, as well as all of our internal organs. And the fascial system is not just a system of separate coverings, it's actually one continuous structure. And it exists from the head to the toes without interruption. So in this way, you can understand that each part of the body is connected to every other part by this fascia. And then just slowly find your way back to center. So bringing the head and the knees back to center. And then we'll find Shavasana, or you could have your knees bent. So we're going to find symmetrical. So this is called the rebound pose. So this is where we can allow the pose to sink in. And our yin practice is very much a meditative practice. So drawing the attention inwards, noticing how the body feels, noticing all sensations. So any tingling, any heat or coolness. Noticing how that twist has affected the spine, or if perhaps it may have affected you physically or mentally. And then from there, so if you have your legs extended again, you can bend the knees and just preparing to come into the twist on the other side. So again, take the arms away from the body. And then we're going to roll the knees over to the right this time as you roll your head over to the left. And again, just stay as you are and breathe and soften. Using your props as you need them. And of course, feel free to use a blanket and then just relax and soften completely. So our twist can help us to restore equilibrium in our nervous system and release tension in the spine. So through our yin practice, we encourage the production of synovial fluid, which is really important for our bones. And it creates lubrication for the joints, and it provides nutrients for the joints. So it's a really important fluid for keeping the joints healthy. And just noticing how you feel on this side. So I know you've just come in, Stuart, so we're in a semi-supine twist, but we've just come onto the other side. So you might just want to adjust your timing so that you get a little bit of time on one side and then on the other. Just anchoring your attention to each generous breath. Keeping the softness through the belly, softening through the face, softening through the center of the tongue. Just release the jaw, softening through the neck. Just witnessing that gentle flow of the breath. Inhaling, exhaling. Each time you breathe out, just see if you can release again the weight of the body just a little bit more. Perhaps softening through the muscles a little bit more at the center. Letting go. And then on the next inhale, bring the head and the knees back to center. And again, we'll slowly move into Shavasana with the legs extended, finding that symmetry, or you can have your knees bent. As you come back to symmetrical, being here, watching, observing, and noticing once more how the body feels. Inhaling, exhaling. So after each pose, we're going to come back to Shavasana as our rebound pose, so that we can really allow the poses to sink in. Of course, you can stay with the eyes closed, so you're redrawing your attention inwards, noticing how the body feels. Again, noticing all sensation. And then from there, again, you can bend the knees and then just draw the knees in towards the chest. You can cross over at your ankle joints and then take your hands to the backs of your thighs. And then you can either rock up into seated, just quite gently and slowly, or you can come up in any other way. So the next pose that we're going to come into is from seated. So it's a seated forward fold. So be careful if you have any lower back issues. If you want to have a drink, now that you're back up, you can take the time to have a little drink. It's a good idea if you have some props. So I've got a sort of selection of props here. So if your hamstrings are tight, you could have the legs bent. So as you come into this pose, you could have the legs straight. Bear in mind, you're going to be in this pose for about 3 minutes, and you can fold into the pose in that way. You could have your knees bent. You could have the knees very bent. If you bring a bolster and then fold over your pillow or your bolster. If you have any lower back issues, just making sure that you're not rounding through the lower back, that you're keeping the spine long if there are any back challenges. So whichever variation of the pose you'd like to come into, or you could be sort of halfway here, maybe with a little cushion perhaps. So just finding that comfortable position now. So Yin Yoga is deeply connected to Chinese medicine. And in Chinese medicine, they talk about the meridians. So it's this huge network of energy channels. And each meridian is lined up or linked up with a different part of the body, a different organ, and also a different set of emotions. So the meridians have a very deep impact on how we think and how we feel. Also on our overall health and our well-being. And according to traditional Chinese medicine and the philosophies of Yin Yoga, any obstructions in your energetic pathways can result in imbalances in your physical, emotional, and mental health. So meridian blocks are often caused by stress or trauma, sometimes poor diet, lack of rest, not exercising enough. These are just examples. So by moving our bodies through a yin practice, we aim to balance the meridians and therefore our emotions. So in this pose, we're working on the urinary bladder meridian. This is associated with confidence, courage, intimacy, enthusiasm, But also on the flip side, control, resentment, jealousy, these sort of feelings, fear, anxiety, when out of balance. And then slowly, slowly lifting out of the pose. And then we'll find once again our neutral rebound pose. So coming onto your back with your legs extended, or perhaps with your knees bent. Again, just noticing how the body feels, paying attention to full body sensations. And just noticing the effect that that forward fold has had on the body physically, and also how it makes you feel mentally. And then, so from here, again, you can just draw the knees in towards the chest. And again, you can either just cross over at the ankle joints, and you can do a gentle rock up into seated, or you can come back up in any other way. So our next pose is the pigeon pose. And you can come into pigeon on your front, or you can come into pigeon on your back. I'm just going to take a little bit of time to go through the variations of pigeon, particularly for those of you that perhaps haven't worked with the practice quite so much. So for pigeon on your front, we can come onto all fours, and then from that all fours position, we can bring the right knee towards the right thumb, and then we can drop the left leg back. So you might find a little groove, either just in the left groin area, or you might find that your heel will just rest at the top of your left thigh. You can stay in an upright pigeon position, or you can come down gently onto the forearms. You could have a prop underneath that right hip if you wish. You could have cushion or a bolster underneath your forehead. So just finding a comfortable position. If you don't like pigeon on your front, so if you have knee challenges, you might find that that's quite difficult. You can find pigeon on your back. So pigeon on the back can be, you could just bring your right foot just behind your left knee. You could come into the pose like that. That could be stage one. If you don't like putting the foot on top of the knee, you could just roll the knee out to the side, take the arms away from the body, and stay in the pose in that way. If you've got your foot over your knee, if that feels okay, you could lift that foot. You could even put a little bit of padding or a block underneath the foot if you wish. You could stay in that position, or you could draw the knee, left knee a little bit further back towards you. You take your right hand through the center between the legs, and then interlace the hands to the back of that left thigh. So those are your options. I'll just put a little timer on now. So just taking whichever variation of the pose feels most appropriate for you. So we're finding that stretch to the outer right hip. softening and finding stillness, unless at any point you feel pain sensations. And then please adjust or come out of the pose. Just noticing feelings as they arise. And noticing if the feelings come and go. So everything's passing, everything's transient. So simply observing, closing your eyes, going a little deeper within. Again, just trying to find stillness within the pose. So the sensations that we're looking for within the yin practice are a sense of deep tugging, dull achiness. So what you want to always avoid is anything that feels sharp, spiky, electrical, or quick to happen within the body. So these are all pain responses and can be quite injurious to the joint. So always choosing compassion over pain. So over time, the yin practices will hydrate the joints. So encouraging more synovial fluid through the joints, which will allow more freedom of movement, reducing joint pain. So eventually the joints can be taken through their full range of movement if there's any challenge or pain or hindrance in the joint. And then whichever variation of the pose you've come into. So if you're in the pose on your front, then slowly come back up. Take the back left toes under. You can come back into all fours. And again, we'll just find our rebound pose. You can come back into Shavasana, or you can come back into semi-supine. Again, just take a little bit of time there in symmetrical. Just notice how it feels. So it might feel very different on the right side to how it feels on the left side. Just noticing, observing. And then from there, again, so when you move between the poses, just make sure that you're moving really slowly. So again, you can just bring your knees in towards your chest. And then you can gently come back up into that seated position. And then we'll take our time to find our pose on the other side. So if you're doing the pose on your front, this time from the all fours, you're going to bring your left knee towards your left thumb. You bring the left leg across the midline of the body on the diagonal, and then you're sinking that right leg back. So again, the left heel, you might find a little space in the right groin where that heel will nestle, or you might be able to just rest the top of your right thigh on that heel. And then of course you can find your props. You might want to use some padding underneath that left hip, or padding to come down onto. And then if you're doing the pose on your back, my little doggy's having a dream there. From semi-supine, you can bring your left foot on top of your right knee, and then you've got the option of staying in that position, or maybe from semi-supine, just rolling that knee out to the side. Or if you've got that left foot on top of the right knee, you can lift that right foot. So you're just starting to stretch through the outer left hip and across the piriformis through the left buttock. And then if you want to do full lying down position, you can take your left hand through the center of the legs and then interlace the hands to the back of your right thigh this time. So whichever variation of the pose you'd like to come into, just taking your time now. Just remembering it doesn't matter how the pose looks, it's how it feels that matters. So the meridians that are affected here are the gallbladder meridian, associated with patience, passion, assertiveness, inspiration. Also on the flip side, things like frustration, insomnia, and resentment. That meridian is out of balance. Again, just taking your time. Again, we're going to be here for about 3 minutes. Taking your time to notice how you feel once more, noticing how it feels on this left side compared to the right side. Does it feel any different? And then just noticing where you can soften, where you can let go just a little bit more. Wearing down any tiredness, any tightness, any restlessness. Just keep going back to that next refreshing breath. So in the stillness of the yin poses, the breath is the movement within the pose, just noticing the subtle movement that the breath creates within the vessel of the body as you inhale and exhale. Just maintaining that compassionate edge, that sense of deep tugging, dull achiness in the joints. And then, so if you're in your yin pose on your front, again, you can just start to lift up and then take your right toes under and then gently release. And again, we'll just come onto our backs, just finding that rebound pose once more, Shavasana or semi-supine. Noticing how the left-hand side feels, how the left hip feels. How does it feel to come back into symmetrical and simply relax? And so our next pose is banana asana. So you'll need to extend your legs long. And then, so there's a couple of options for this pose. So you can take your right foot over to the right and then let your left foot follow. So coming into a banana shape, or you can cross your left foot over your right. With the arms, you can interlace the hands to the back of the head and then take a side bend of the upper body over to the right. So your body's forming a banana shape. Or you can reach the arms overhead, or you can have the arms alongside the body. So just look out for any, if you've got the arms overhead, just look out for any tingling sensations underneath the collarbones. And then just stay as you are and breathe. So you've got that stretch along the left side of the body. So this pose, it gives a stretch from the IT band down the side of the leg, the hips, the obliques, to the rib cage, to the armpit. So we want to find a balance that's not too much and not too little. So if you have any lower back issues, just take it gently without overstretching. So the gallbladder meridian is targeted here. And if you do have your arms overhead, you're also stimulating your heart and your lung meridians. Just taking your time to release, soften. So if the stretch doesn't feel enough, just come into a little bit more deeply. And if you've gone a little bit too far, you can just back off a little bit. Again, you can close your eyes, noticing how that stretch feels. Allowing the muscles to stay passive, soft. So muscles respond very well to these quite quick, rhythmical movements. So connective tissue is denser, it has far less blood supply and responds well to these longer mindful holds, moderate pressure. Directing the breath along the whole of the left side of the body. Breathing in and breathing out. So we're directing the prana to the parts of the body that are working hardest for us. So it's said that where the mind goes, the prana flows. Just taking the time, breathing into sensation. And now just very quietly take your time to release. Come back to Shavasana, or you can bend your knees. Notice how the left hand side of the body feels. And then from there, so we'll make our way into the pose on the other side. So from Shavasana with your legs extended, you can take your left leg over to the left and then bring your right leg to follow, or you could cross your right ankle over your left. For the upper part of the body, you could interlace your hands to the back of the head and then take a side bend over to the left. So you're relaxing the arms, relaxing the shoulders, or you could have the arms extended overhead, or you could have the arms alongside the body. So whichever position, again, feels most comfortable for you. So the heart meridian can bring up, as you'd expect, a whole range of emotions: sadness, depression, a lack of laughter, a yearning for love, perhaps jealousy or sorrow. However, when it's balanced, this meridian brings up optimism, spiritual growth, a zest for life, control of thoughts and senses, and also an inner wisdom. So as you come into the pose on this side, just notice how it feels on this side. Again, just sweeping the breath along the right side of the body this time. Directing the prana to that whole right side of the body. Inhaling, exhaling. Gently softening again with each exhalation, noticing how you feel. Again, try to remain still in the pose, but obviously if you have to move, if there's any pain coming out of the pose, and just trying to find that appropriate depth again, so the pose is not too much or not too little. Staying as you are. Stay with your breath. This moment to moment experience of breath and sensation. Taking one more deep inhale, pour it out on exhale, and then just find your way back to your rebound pose, either Shavasana or semi-supine, finding symmetrical. Again, just noticing how you feel. You can stay with the eyes closed, drawing your attention inwards, noticing how your body feels, noticing all sensations. And then, so from here, so the next pose that we're going to come into, so it's a supported bridge pose. So you come into semi-supine, and then if you've got a bolster or if you've got a block, you're just going to lift the hips and then place your block or your bolster or your cushion underneath your sacrum, so the flat part of the back. So making sure that it's underneath the sacrum and it's not underneath the lower back. And then you can stay in semi-supine. You can extend your legs if you wish, but that makes it a lot stronger, and you can take the arms overhead, or you can just stay in that semi-supine position. So just choosing again which position you'd like to come into. And just allow your pelvis to feel heavy. So here we're targeting the spleen and the stomach meridians. And worry is the main emotion that's connected to these meridians. And we all know how we can feel worry deeply in the pit of our stomach. When we feel nervous, often our digestion is affected. And when we're out of balance here, we can experience extreme worry and anxiety. And we can feel unmotivated, sometimes unable to speak. But on the other side of this, it's also the seat of our fire. So this stomach meridian is where our passion lies, where we can feel highly motivated with a sense of purpose. So it's also where change and transformation can happen. And it's the seat of our self-empowerment. Once more, finding that appropriate depth. So the pose is not too much or too little. Finding that stillness. Staying present with the breath. So just allow the breath to be your anchor. Inhaling, exhaling. Softening through the shoulders, softening through the face, softening through the back of the head, And just noticing how the breath moves the body. So in the stillness of the yin poses, we can cultivate this deep inner listening. With the eyes closed, so blocking up the outer sense of sight. This really allows us to go deeper inside ourselves. It's deeply nourishing for the central nervous system. Allowing greater resilience and better brain function. And then from here, so just removing the block from underneath your sacrum. And then either staying in semi-supine, or again, you can extend the legs, finding Shavasana. And again, just noticing how you feel in the pose, the after effects of your supported bridge pose. Again, just stay with the breath. And then from here, so our last pose this evening is going to be Supta Baddha Konasana. So from that position, again, if you've got your knees, sorry, if you've got your legs extended, if you bend your knees and then take the arms away from the body, you can let the knees roll out to the side so you're connecting through the soles of the feet. As you come into the pose, if you wish, you can place perhaps a pillow or cushion underneath the thighs or the knees. That can be quite nice. You can interlace the hands. You can place them to the back of the head. You have a cushion underneath the head. Alternatively, you could have the arms alongside the body, slightly away from the body. You've got quite a few choices, really opening up through the hips, through the groin, through the inner thighs, opening up through the belly, the stomach. Just allow yourself to settle. So use your props appropriately for your maximum comfort. Just bring your awareness now to your back body. And the points of view that are on the earth, the shoulders, the back of your skull, the back of your hips, ankles. Take some grounding breaths into those parts of the body. And just allow yourself to rest back into that space. And then visualize that you have roots from your back body down into the earth. And so anything that you're worrying about, any plans that you're making, just take a big breath in and then just drop those thoughts down into the earth and just let it all go. Just coming into a neutral place. Softening all of your face, got your arms alongside your body, you can just place the hands onto the belly, just allowing yourself some compassion and acceptance. And then from there, just gently bring the knees back together. You can give the knees a little squeeze with the thighs, a little squeeze. And then just draw your knees in towards your chest. You can place your hands over your knees and then just take some gentle circles. So some clockwise circles. Bring a little bit of movement. And then taking those circles the other way. So if you've got everything that you need on the floor or wherever you're lying, you could stay or you could come back up and have a little drink and gather everything you need. So we're going to move into our final relaxation now. So just making sure that you have everything that you need and then coming into your resting position, your relaxation pose. And just take a little bit of time here to settle, making yourself really comfortable. So again, you can have your eyes closed. Just feel the body heavy. Bringing your awareness to your breath. On the next exhale, just allow your body to elongate. So your face is soft, your chest is soft, your belly is open, your shoulder blades are releasing. And allow the breath to flow naturally and gently. Just take a deep, full inhale. So you're just puffing the belly out a little. With the exhale, draw the lower abdomen back towards the spine to help the old air to leave the body. Once again, a long, deep inhale into the belly and a full, long exhale. And now just allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm. And then take your awareness to just above the crown of your head. So just above the crown of your head is a very delicate and subtle star of light. Slowly becoming aware of the presence of this star of light above your crown. Notice that the light from the star pulses with radiance and love. And the light from the star is naturally flowing into your body through the crown of the head, flowing down through your body. So in this meditation, we're going to use the breath to invite light into the body, filling you with healing, rejuvenation, with energy and light. And with the exhale, allow the light to flow more deeply through the pores of your body and out through the skin and into the region around you. And feel the breath, feel the gentle flow of particles of light energy with the inhalation through the crown, flowing down through the brain, through the face and the neck. And the inhalation gently draws the breath as deep into the body as inhalation can comfortably find a place. And with the exhalation, feel that light spreading more and more through the body, through the cells. With every inhalation and exhalation, deepen your sense of rejuvenation and healing. These healing particles of light energy that are flowing through the crown, flowing down through the body with the exhalation, spreading expansively through the entire body, through the chest, whole torso and the back, down through the hips and the thighs, and into the feet. And your meditation is an invitation to the light of the universe to flow through your body and to fill you with the radiance that is your true nature. And allow every breath to draw in light. Allow every breath to fill you with shimmering particles of radiance. You are light, little by little. Allow yourself to take this in, to sense it, to feel it, to open to it. As thoughts arise, as soon as you notice that you're thinking, just come back to the breath and to the sensation of light flooding and opening the body. And notice how, as you sink more deeply into the experience of this meditation, notice how the breath becomes deeper. And notice how the body becomes more open. You may also begin to feel that the light above your crown has spread out to surround your body like a luminous egg of golden light. And now as the breath flows in, you might begin to feel that the breath actually is flowing in through the pores of the body, flowing in from all sides. So the experience is not so much of you breathing as it is of allowing yourself to be breathed, allowing your body to open to the luminosity which flows in with the inhalation and flows through the whole body with the exhalation. Little by little, allow yourself to fully bathe in this light and sense the presence of the luminous egg. And sense how the light flows into your body, through the crown, and now through the front and the sides and the back. And how the light and the breath flow into your pores. And begin to recognize that you are being breathed. Be aware of the ocean of air that surrounds us. Be aware that the energy and light is actually breathing you. And allow this breathing, healing light to fill your body. Let yourself be with the breath, with the light, with the deepening sense of relaxing into the universe's intention to hold, support, and love. And let yourself be with the breath. Let yourself be breathed. And remain with this gentle flow of light and breath through the whole body. As we open the 8th chakra above the crown of the head, we're stepping through the veil that separates our earthly self from our eternal soul. And it opens our eyes to the vast space beyond the physical plane boundaries. Just drawing your awareness now back through the body into the outer extremities of the body. Just quietly taking your awareness now into your hands and into your feet, into your fingers and into your toes, and just start to breathe, to bring some gentle movements now. Perhaps bending the knees if you have your legs extended. Perhaps bringing just a little bit of movement now. So maybe taking the knees minutely one way and the head the other, or perhaps taking any additional stretches like the body needs right now. Just giving your body what it needs in this moment. And then in your own time, just rolling over onto one side, whichever side feels most comfortable for you. Just come into a quiet position on your side, nice fetal position. For the last few moments of relaxation.